Welcome to Six in the City, the podcast where 620-somethings talk about shit and some of them live in cities.
I'm Jen.
I'm Lexi.
I'm Nancy.
I'm Elena.
I'm Jane.
And I'm Robin. Hi everyone, welcome back to this week's episode. Today we have Robin, Jen, Elena, and myself, Nancy. And this episode, we will be playing a game. Specifically, we will be playing Would You Rather. So I have a list of a lot of variety of Would You Rather questions here. You know, some lighthearted, some funny, some a little bit more philosophical. But we'll kick it off with this first one here. Would you rather have to be naked at work for an hour or be dropped off 2 miles from your house whilst you're naked and you have to try and get home?
The house one? Probably. No?
Because
you can like hide in the bushes. What?
Sure.
How far is 2 miles? That's not that far, right? You could just like
I think
go.
Good if you're running and like the average person makes it like 13 minutes.
13-minute miles.
I think that's the
mile.
average. So like it'll take you like about half an hour for 2 miles if you're running.
I'll take it. And you said an hour at work, right? So that's already half the time and my coworkers aren't there. So that's definitely it.
Yeah, I would do hour at work. Because like at least where where I live, I feel like I would see more people
that's
walking to my place than like at work. And then I would just quit right after. fresh start.
Fresh start.
That's my like exit interview or whatever. And then I just
Oh man. Yeah, I would agree. I would also do it at work because like you can hide at work, right? There's no like restriction, whereas you literally have to walk home for 2 miles.
Yeah, that's a long walk.
That's true. Yeah, because it doesn't say that you have to be in front of people while you're at work, but you have to try to get home when you're dropped off 2 miles. So
right. So it's just like
wow.
You strip in your office, you just sit there for an hour.
What if you're in a cubicle? You have to hide in the bathroom. Is that what you do?
Yeah, hide in a stall.
Where's Robin? Just naked in the bathroom.
Don't worry about
just
it.
Chilling.
But okay, so what if you can't hide? Would that change your answer?
I would still do the work.
So you'll be like at your cubicle, like in front of people.
I think if you have the right mindset and you give off an aura that you don't care, then maybe people will
like. Isn't that sexual harassment?
Actually,
technically, yeah.
Whereas if you're walking home naked,
like
that's a felony, though. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think that's public indecency.
Yeah,
and I think you might be able to charge as a sex predator.
Yeah, true. If you're like sprinting past like a neighborhood full of children, just no clothes on. I feel like both situations would probably end you up in jail. So
yeah.
What's the next one?
Okay, next one. Would you rather be able to travel everywhere for free or eat everywhere for free? So travel or eat for free everywhere.
I would say travel.
I would say travel
for free.
Travel, yeah.
Because I feel like I can travel anywhere for free and I wouldn't mind paying for the good food at the places I travel.
I think I would travel.
I also feel like the price of travel is like keeping me from doing things, but the price of food is like never stopping me from like eating food. So you know what I mean? I'm always like, treat yourself, but I can't just like drop $2,000 on a plane flight whenever I want.
You're right.
Does the travel also include like any kind of travel? So like metro rides and stuff like that?
It just says travel.
Okay, well, free metro.
Free metro.
Free Uber.
Free metro.
Yeah,
free
that's
Uber
true.
would be so nice.
Free Amtrak.
Yeah, I think a variation with this question was, it was international. Would you rather be able to travel internationally for free or eat internationally for free? So would that change? Yeah, still travel
because I think like Elena said, it's like the monetary value of being able to travel is like much higher than being able to eat well, I think, like relative to each other.
All right. Next one.
I love these.
Yeah, I know. Would you rather know how you die or when you die?
How?
How?
I would want to know when.
Oh, really?
I mean, ideally, it's not. I don't want to know either. But I think I would rather know when instead of how.
Oh, a split room.
Okay.
Okay, should we debate and discuss, guys?
Yeah.
Why? I would love to hear why those who decided why you guys would want that instead.
I mean, I don't know about Elena, but I think for me, knowing the when would just like fuck my life over leading up to that point. Like it'll be all I'm thinking about, like, oh, like August 9th, 2000, whatever, like that's my last day. But for like how I die, like let's say, oh my gosh, I don't even want to give an example, like tripping over myself and I fall and ... Like I feel like that's something that like I won't be thinking about it as hard compared to an exact date. Does that make sense?
Right.
Unless it's like a really specific, very specific type of.
Yeah, I guess it depends. Because like if example, like you knew that you were going to die like in a train, you'd be like terrified of trains for the rest of your life.
That's true.
But then like if you know when, then you're just like gonna, like Jen said, spend the rest of your life thinking about it. But actually I think I'm gonna switch it. I think I'm gonna switch it to when.
No.
Thought about it because I think it's gonna give me less anxiety to just know when than be afraid of like, going, like if you're gonna die like in a Starbucks and I would just be terrified of Starbucks for the rest of my life, I guess that changed.
Right.
I guess it would make you live your life to the fullest. Like if it says like you'll die in a Starbucks and you still go to a Starbucks, like you don't know if that'll be your last Starbucks, but like
I'm a risk taker.
Yeah, like you go there
every day.
I feel like it would make you live your life to the fullest every day because you still don't know what day,
True. That's true.
Elena, are you still?
I'm split.
Robin and Nancy, what are your thoughts?
My exact reason is for what Elena brought up is that I feel, I mean, I would be anxious regardless, but I would think I would be less anxious knowing that if I were to die next week, knock on wood, that it's like, okay, I can't change that, but I can do whatever I want theoretically, whatever I want until next week and I'll be okay. Whereas like, if it's like, I'm going to die, like Elena said, like in a Starbucks, I'm going to avoid Starbucks for the rest of my life. So I would have more anxiety not knowing when it would happen, but knowing how. And then I think I could change and cheat death, but final destination, death always finds a way. So I think knowing when I could at least, try to come to peace with it and live my life to the fullest. But I don't know if Robin, if you agree or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is that it would give me the time to emotionally and mentally prepare myself. But also on the flip side, I think knowing how I die, but not when, is like just enough information to drive me crazy because it's like we all said already, it's like if I know I'm gonna die by going into a Starbucks.
Poor Starbucks.
Like, we're slandering Starbucks.
Not them suing us for defamation after this episode comes out.
Okay, this one, let's say Dunkin' Donuts. We'll be fair.
Donuts. Then I'm just like gonna live in constant anxiety of like, is this time that I go into Dunkin' Donuts gonna be the time that I die or not? And I don't think that, I don't know. I think there's some beauty in being able to have peace with your death.
Hopefully this is a little more lighthearted. Would you rather be magical but live on Earth or live in a magical land but be normal?
What's magical?
Magical on Earth.
Like magical powers?
I guess so.
What's a magical land?
Like everyone else is magical except for you. Like it's normal for everyone else to be magical, but you are not.
That sounds horrible. You'd be like the most boring person in existence.
I feel like this also is just symbolism for like wealth disparity or privilege. Like if you're the only person in a place where everyone else is privileged, like why would you want to live in a society like that?
Well, I was thinking, oh wow, you guys got really deep because I was just thinking like
Magic.
You like magic, right? Like if it was like Harry Potter or something, as if it was like I was like in my mind, it was like Harry Potter world, you know, the wizarding world of Harry Potter. So everyone else is, you know, a wizard and I'm a muggle. But it's like it's cool because I'm around. I like even though I don't have those powers, I am living in a world and I am exposed to that, and I'm gonna have some benefits, you know, from living it, even though I myself don't have those magical powers. But if I am the only person with magical powers, no one will connect with me, and I might be, you know, exiled or something if people think that I'm weird. So I would rather, you know, like live in a magical land but be normal. True. You know, that was what everyone was so deep with the privilege. And I did not even think that.
This sounds like an anime. I'm pretty sure an anime.
Sounds like Avatar: The Last Airbender with like the non-benders and then like the benders.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd rather be normal in a magical world and just get a boyfriend who's really magical.
Right. He'll do everything for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but since we're bringing Harry Potter into it, I feel like that's the perfect example. Like you see how Muggles are treated and viewed, and there's so much like they're looked down upon so much simply like because they don't share those same like abilities as them,
right?
Even though they're just as capable with technology. But so
in this situation, would Jeff Bezos be Voldemort? I see it. I see that one.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
With his bald head.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I would be happy to be sued if it means that Jeff Bezos was listening to our podcast.
So the next one, would you rather go back to age 5 with everything you know now, or know now everything your future self will learn?
I would go back to age 5.
Really?
With everything I know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because I think there's some things I'd like to change about my past, but I don't really necessarily want to know the future. If that makes sense.
Interesting.
That's interesting. I was originally going to be the opposite, but I feel like at my age now, I have a lot more autonomy. So no, like I can make better decisions. But Jen's answer is now making me switch, because I think knowing what I know now, if I go back, I can make different decisions so that I'm not at that same place I am now, if that makes sense.
Right. Interesting.
I think I wouldn't. I think because, first of all, like being a 23-year-old in a 5-year-old's body would just be a super weird experience. Like I don't think I would get along with anyone. Like who would I be friends with? I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, let's go play. Like I don't know. You know what I mean?
I didn't interpret the question to be like that. I think it's just when you are 5, you just know everything. So it's like, you know, if you're like unsatisfied about, I guess, having burger for dinner that night, you in that moment, you know, I should not choose burger for dinner. But you don't have the mentality of a 23-year-old in a 5-year-old. You just
do not know that. Like at this moment in time, I don't know whether or not I wanted a burger when I was like 5-year-old.
Well, that was just supposed to be a lighthearted thing, but it's supposed to be like more philosophical, I guess, like the deeper stuff, like all the deeper stuff you've learned.
But then again, even if it wasn't like me, it would still be such a more mature like version of myself in that body, just because everything I know now is like made me like into like a mature 23-year-old person. So I don't think I would have fun, first of all, and then second of all, I think I would be like worried about like making decisions that like lead me to a different path, and then like I would like miss my like old life, and then like, you know, I'd get super depressed and like regret everything, like, oh, I didn't do it correctly this time, something like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I feel like the past should stay
That's true
where it
That's
is.
True too.
We could not be in a 5-year-old body. We are too jaded by the shit we know. We would not enjoy our lives. Be like, shit, I have to go through all that again.
And like people want to play tag or hide and seek, and we're just sitting on the bench like, but do you understand the wealth disparity?
Right? Exactly. It would exactly be like that.
I think one
understand racial injustice.
I think one thing frustrating being back, like going back in time, I just thought about is like the technology difference of like being used to everything I have right now, and then going back to my 5-year-old self, knowing that these exist in the future, but I'm not able to obviously attain them now because they might not exist, you know?
Mhm.
I think also going back in time, like I'll be able to relive twice the experience with people I care about as well. Like with my parents and stuff, I'll have each experience twice in a way. So maybe,
Right.
yeah. Not that it'll ever happen, right?
Yeah, no. Would you rather? Okay, so this one. Would you rather only be able to use a fork, no spoon, or only be able to use a spoon, no fork for the rest of your life?
Spoon.
Fork.
The casual way you both said it as if it was the most obvious answer.
It's definitely spoon though. It's 100%
What? It's
spoon.
fork.
Whoa, what?
I think it's a
Why?
Libra and Pisces and all of
Libra Pisces go fight.
I thought this was
No.
gonna be like such an obvious
But a
fork
spoon-
answer.
A spoon can easily fork into something.
No, I don't think it can stay on. Like with soup, you can at least slurp from like the bowl, and you don't need, But
What
like
what can you
spaghetti is so
eat?
hard,
Is it though? You just like spin it? I don't know.
I was gonna say, I think for me it was a no-brainer because I actually always use a fork no matter what, and I only use spoons in my regular life if it's like soup. Like I hate using spoons. I always for everything, literally everything I use a fork, like rice, cake, I don't know, like everything I use a fork.
I guess for me, the difference is that I don't really use forks that
Mm.
much in my daily life because I use chopsticks and spoons. So I guess forks and then in my life is more replaceable, like easily replaceable than a spoon. Because I scoop out spam with spoons and
Okay. Well, you do that with a fork.
why is that the only thing I can think of?
I think it's easier to like get all of the food if you have a spoon. Like I was actually eating this like pasta dish last night with a fork and it was frustrating me because I like couldn't scoop up the last pieces. And then I ate a pasta dish earlier today with a spoon. And I was like, wow, this is so much easier. So
That's true.
yeah, I don't know.
I'll say I think you can definitely do with a spoon, but in my experience, I think a fork is a little more versatile. Like even though you can technically, like if you really wanted to cut a steak with a spoon with like sheer grit and like determination, you probably can. But I think overall you can still manage to do more things with a little bit more like ease with a fork than a spoon. I don't know.
Right. When I think of what the one thing that you have to use a spoon with would be soup, but you can just slurp from a bowl, like put it
That's
directly
true.
to your mouth.
I feel the same way about a spoon though. Like what do you have to use a fork for? Nancy said like I would choose fork because like spoon, the only food that you have to eat with it is like soup. But like what food do you only have to eat with a fork?
Literally anything and everything I use a fork for. So any types of meats or even rice, like fried rice or pasta.
Right, but you can still
vegetables.
use.
Right, you
But
can use a spoon, but I think I have more control with a fork because I can stab it.
Right. That's
Even
the
fried
thing.
rice.
Yeah.
Fried
I
rice, like because I usually have fried rice with something else. Like if it is
you use it as
like
a scraper
meat
thing.
or, yeah.
I
If
like
I'm only
cannot
having
eat
fried
fried
rice,
rice
I'll
with
get
a
it.
fork.
Me neither. I had to do it yesterday with Panda Express and I couldn't do it.
Because for me, spoons, like it falls off because also the shape of the spoon and how much the spoon itself can hold might not be how much I might want more. So I agree with Robin. It's the stabbing part. Like I have more control over and picking up over how much I exactly want. Whereas like with spoons, sometimes you try to put it up, but depending on, the shape and, how much it can hold, it might fall over or not pick up the amount that I'm satisfied with for that bite.
Also
Interesting.
realizing that I think it was Jen who said that you don't really use forks because you use chopsticks. Like I'm realizing now that's true for me too. I definitely use chopsticks more than any other utensil. And so I think because chopsticks weren't an option, like the next replacement to a chopstick would be a fork. So I feel like more than a spoon, that's why I would choose fork. I'm realizing now. Yeah.
Interesting.
We take every question
So
right.
seriously.
At least that one didn't turn like philosophical.
It's true.
Not yet.
Yeah, we get like riled up over some stuff that
We're passionate people.
we
Very
really
true.
are. And you know what? It has not come in between our friendships. So,
It's
you know.
about to. No, I'm kidding.
So this one, would you rather have to fart loudly every time you have a serious conversation or have to burp after every kiss?
Fart.
I would burp.
Oh, Robin, you and me
Is
are
it
just-
is it a like, serious conversation with your boss and you just have to like rip a super loud fart in his
That's
office?
what I'm thinking, which is why
It
I
doesn't
would-
say,
pretty
but that's
bad.
that's what I'm thinking too. Because at least kissing, like I have a
Youth
long-term
only, yeah.
partner, you know, and
you would
if he
imagine you're
knows
kissing, yeah. Unless,
every
well,
time we
us,
Unless-
like we're
Hmm.
in committed relationships, so maybe that's like
Oh, and
influencing
I'm the
our
only
thinking.
one.
No, what I'm saying is like if I was
Wait, that's so
single
true.
and like actively
the first
dating,
person.
yeah, the first kiss I have with someone he might not be
Mm.
comfortable with yet, and I'm just
That's
burping in their
true.
face.
But I wasn't thinking burping in their face, right?
Well, it's like you kiss and then right after you burp, I imagine you're
Oh.
still in their vicinity.
They would
In their
probably see
vicinity.
you, yeah.
Right.
Also, what kind of fart is it?
Is it a silent one or a loud one? Is that
Or like a cute little like boop. you know?
Cute.
Like an innocent one. Like
Innocent fart for your boss who's firing you or like giving you a pay decrease and you're just like
they can't fire me for something natural, right?
no, but it's a serious
Already
conversation, right?
Firing
So
you.
he's
Yeah.
I'm just like
already-
imagining like, you know, like a big exec meeting, you're standing up front, you're like, I don't
I
know,
would just blame
talking.
someone else every time. Like, damn, Nancy.
I don't know, like at least yeah, I don't but, like what if it's like obvious that it's you?
Then I
know,
just
like-
pretend like it didn't happen.
A risky way to live.
YOLO.
I think I'd go burp.
Yeah, I think I'm sticking to because I'm thinking like if I am single and I burp every time I kiss a new prospect, I guess if you want to say, I would just tell them ahead of time I have this disorder.
If you
That-
can't handle it, then we're not meant to be together.
I'm adding some spice into
And
our
I appreciate
answers.
it. It would be so boring if we agreed on everything.
Right.
It's true.
I'm curious. Would you rather lose your best friend or all of your friends except for your best friend?
Oh my god.
I don't mean like lose as in death, as in like, would you
Oh.
rather? Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the friendship ends.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
this
for the
actually
friendship.
this happened to me and I was given a choice between my best friend or all of our other friends and I chose my best friend, so that would be my answer.
Mm.
And do you regret your decision or
No, all of those other people were fake as fuck. They were like, choose us or her. And I was like, what the fuck? Why would you give me, you know what I mean?
in that situation, I think that makes total sense because if someone's giving you an ultimatum like that, they're probably not nice people.
If she had been the one to give me the ultimatum, then maybe she's the sneaky one. So I guess it would just
Right.
depend on the situation. Yeah.
That's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. Yeah, whoever is the one who's forcing you to choose, I think
Yeah.
is the bad person.
I think I would still do best friend over a group of friends because I feel like there's probably a reason why that person is my best friend and and someone in like the friend group isn't, maybe, I don't know. But also I don't really believe in like one best friend
That's-
kind of thing,
Right. I was gonna
Valid.
say, I'm trying to like think about it in my current life. And yeah, I don't have a best friend. Like I have you guys and I have my close friends from back home and I have my close like friend that I from undergrad as well. And I was talking to her about it as well and saying how like we were talking about the concept of best friends because she was saying how her boyfriend doesn't believe that you can have multiple best friends, but she's like, no, you can have multiple close friends. And I totally agree with her. So in this case, I was like, in my thinking, it would force me to choose one person as a best friend and lose all of you guys, like close, really close friends, or keep all of you guys, but cut off one of you guys, because I personally don't identify with having a best friend. Like, obviously, you know, middle school, elementary school, high school Nancy, you know, was juvenile in her thinking of friendships and what that meant, and could probably easily answer that question. But, you know, I think where I am at now, I would actually, if we clarify it to say like close friends, I would rather lose one relationship and keep the rest of everyone else than to lose everyone else that I have in my life that I'm good friends with, but keep only one.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nancy. I think like the concept of just having one only BFF for life is probably a concept I believed in when I was younger, but definitely not anymore. Because it's like that term is just so like I have a lot of besties. I feel like besties, like, you know,
right,
besties.
Best,
not like that one like best friend.
I agree, because I don't know. I like started to think, because I realized I've been in situations where, similar to Elena, like I've had to choose, but it wasn't against like a group of friends and one person. It was like between two people.
Damn.
And then also in the case where other people have had to choose between me and someone else.
Damn.
So then I just was thinking about that.
I agree that like best friends aren't really a thing in my adult life now, but I do still consider like that I have two best friends, one from my life before high school and one from like high school and like beyond. And like I don't think either of them are like more of my best friend than the other. And I don't really have one from like college and on, because like you guys said, as you're like get older, it's not really like you have best friends anymore. You just have like really close best friends. But I still consider them like best friends, but they're not like more best friends than like my friends now. I don't know what I'm saying, but you know what I mean?
No, that makes a lot of sense, which is why like for me it's like so hard to choose. And then it's like, even though we don't talk consistently, it doesn't undervalue how like what they like mean in my life, and like they have a different, you know, we have different best friend relationship with each other, right?
For sure.
And like I can't, and like even with you guys, like I don't really talk to one person more. I guess Elena, because she's here and we go boxing together, so we'll just like text each other about it. But it's like I don't really even like talk to like within us like one person more than the other, because it's mostly in the group chat as well. So like I legitimately can't choose, like can't say I have one best friend. Like I have multiple really, really close friends that I would consider good best friends. But I won't, which is why like if I have to cut one of you out to save everyone else, then yeah, I'll do that, you know, because I don't have one person to be able to do that.
We have the receipts now.
Well, anyways, thanks everyone for listening to this week's episode of Six in the City podcast. We'll be back next week.
Thank you.
Bye, besties.
Bye, besties.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Six in the City. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at sixinthecitypod.
This episode was edited by Nancy, with music brought to you by Gandhara Pitama.